After the terrorist crash, stablecoins are on the G7 strike list. Our strict laws will soon be in place. If you want to see more screams of dread, hit the like button. And we've got some very significant topics to cover right now. Following the terrorist attacks, we are already seeing an increase in regulation, and this trend is likely to continue. What I said was correct. There's little doubt that the horror crash will speed things up. Moreover, if you'd like to stay up to date on the latest crypto news, crush that. As is customary, there was a lot of panic in the market after the collapse of Terra, its native assets, Luna, and the USD. Regulatory intervention became necessary when monetary losses took center stage. An international response has been rushed in by regulators, who have called for caution in any investments in a similar sector. G7 ministers from 7 countries recently declared their support for stablecoins. Despite the fact that cryptocurrencies were established, they were largely ignored by governments around the world. The similarities between crypto assets were so that some drew them. As a result of the growing popularity of these assets, government agencies have begun to accept the business more readily. Just as crypto-friendly legislation was getting off the ground, the market crashed, and the cycle repeated itself. Although some excellent legislation was observed, the collision occurred, and it accelerated significantly. However, this does not imply an impending wave of unwelcome legislation. In the future, what might happen? Stablecoins need to be subject to strict regulations. According to a G7 declaration, stablecoins will be more strictly regulated in the future. In their speeches, they made this point clear. This had to do with the fight against the laundering of money. The G7 encouraged the Financial Stability Board (FKB) to examine into the crypto industry, and the FKB did just that. According to what was written in the statement, globally, the G7 countries urged the ECB to work closely with international standard setters in order to expedite the creation and implementation of uniform and passive regulation for crypto asset issuers and service providers in light of recent market turbulence. In other words, it may be impossible for everyone to develop their own stablecoin in order to hold crypto assets, including stablecoins, to a level that is equal to or better than that of the financial system as a whole. However, G7 has started the implementation of FATF Financial Action Task Force to regulate stablecoins. In 2019, the travel rule was approved. Privacy coins have long been targeted by this law, and it has even led certain platforms away from using cryptocurrencies ethers. As a result of the Paris crash, the top 7 countries are likely to enforce the travel ban. There should be a faster implementation of the financial travel regulation and a more thorough regulatory reporting of stablecoins' reserve assets, for example. As a result, I believe that the travel restriction may have some significance. Back in 2019, this was widely accepted. In order to comply with the travel rule, all financial institutions must. That's what it all boils down to. Do you think they should make a report on this? As a result, they expect stablecoins to provide some information. It's also a matter of keeping an eye on the cryptocurrency market. To put it another way, this implies that organizations that conduct wire transfers of conventional cash had to issue a variety of reciprocal information, the new established responsibility of Bitcoin transfers. As with many other global audit requirements, the travel rule necessitates the exchange of information for funds worth at least $3,000 in order to be valid. Basically, this means that large companies that own stablecoins must state that they do so in some way. Stablecoins can also be sent, whether they are sent out, in them, or somewhere else. But is this going to have an impact on cryptocurrency in the future? At long last, we have a regulation. We don't know if it will be accepted yet. However, there's a lot in the works right now. There's a lot going on. Furthermore, a slew of government agencies have stated publicly that they support regulating cryptocurrency. We'll have to wait and see. The question is whether or not you believe that crypto will be regulated in the future. They believe this will be beneficial to Terra. What do you think about this? Do you believe that the hard work will take place? Press the like button now. Keep an eye out for additional updates from me in the future. Peter was the first to speak.